Hi guys, today we are going to talk about Docker else. So till yesterday what we have done, that is Docker, we can check the images and make our own image to send the code like index.html. So if I show you, is there any image with the name of Nginx? Suppose I have an Nginx image, that is this one, and if I try to run docker run -d or -it is your choice, D for detaching and IT for interactive terminal, and the name I'm giving nginx underscore one, and if I use image docker.io and nginx. So if I run this, no, so it will run a web page also in the behind one. So you can say the running container by the command of docker ps. So if I check the docker ps command, that is running container and is created 11 seconds ago. So how can I know more about a container? That is a docker inspect. I told you yesterday that how to know more about a container by a docker inspect element. So after docker inspect, you have to just give a name of the container that you want to know more about that. So if you do docker inspect nginx underscore one, so you'll get everything that you want. But today, in today's scenario, we just only want our IP address. So we just have to copy that, and if I paste it here by using curl, it will tell you that welcome to Nginx and the page is running. That is the by default page. But I also told you how to change that page. Suppose you have an index.html page and you want to change the content of that. So see, if I change that, how can I change? By docker cp command, I told you yesterday also. Docker cp index.html container name and the path of that file. So I think you remember the file path name, that is this one, usr share nginx html. Inside that we have to share a file, that is index.html, to show our own content. So if I enter and now again check, you can see there is not changing anymore. Why? Because I think I changed to something else. So docker ps and docker, oh sorry, docker vim index.html, is there any file? Welcome to my container on nginx. So if I docker cp index.html nginx one, okay, I shared that to somewhere else. That is the problem. So now this is the command that you have to do. This is every time that you have to give the name of the running container, not the stopped one. You have to give the name of running container every time. So I before that I gave something else name, that is v1. That's why it's not changed that content. So the name of the running container is nginx underscore one. Now if you want to see your web page, you can see that is curl and the IP address of that container. So welcome to my nginx on welcome to my container on nginx. So this is how you can do that. But I told you one more thing, that is how to change the port number. If you want to run that on the localhost machine, so what you have to do, you have to run it again, like run docker.io nginx, but you have to give the port number as well. Suppose you want to run on port number 5555 of the 80 port, that is on the docker machine. So if I enter it here, and we'll wait for that, because we do not enter here a D, because I want to detach that also. So if I detach that and check, is there any container running with the name of Nostalgic Williams, because I didn't mention here the name, so it will take directly by itself. So if I copy that and curl IP address, that is 1703, you can see the by default page. But if you want to curl that page from the local machine, and the local machine IP is of my system is this one. So if I copy that and curl paste, now what I have to do is I have to add the port number that I given in the container only. So you can see now on the base machine with the port number, it's running also. By which command? There is a p -p, you can see we have to specify the port number that we want to add in that container. If you use 6666, then you have to add 6666 at the end of your local machine IP. So that is how things works. But today what we have to learn is, suppose we have some running containers. Yes, we have two running containers now. But if you want to pause something, pause means if you want to not stop directly, you just have to pause your container. You can pause your container for any work to do in that. So pause and the name of that container. So I'm pausing a container with the name of nostalgic underscore Williams. So it will take by default any random name, and suppose we have to stop that. So if you check in Docker PS, there will be a container with the name, but the status of that is paused. So this is how you can pause a container. Or if you want to start that container, you do not want to run a start command. You just have to run a unpause command, that is docker unpause and the container name. So now you can see the container is running again, and the time of state running is up to 2 minutes. So that is how you can use pause and unpause. Okay, now the thing is, suppose you want to know about your Docker software, that how many images it have, how many container it's running, which volume is using, like that only. So we have a command that is docker info. If you remember that, I told you in the first class about docker info. So I'm telling you again, what is docker info? Docker info will tell you everything about your Docker system, or you can say Docker service. So if I press enter here, from the top of that you can see I run command here from here only. So the containers total are 10. In that we have two running containers, because if you see by docker ps command, you can see only two containers are running from here only. So, and pause is 0, and if I suppose if I pause something now again, sorry, unpause, no, pause. So now if I run it again, docker info, sorry, info, you can see here now again, that is container are 10, running is 1, and paused is 1. But the 8 containers are stopped. And how many total images have you in your system? That is 19 images you have in your system. So in your case, it can be different, because I have several images to run. So that's why it can be different in your system. So in my system, there are 10 containers, 1 running, 1 pause, 8 stopped, and 19 images in total. Now, what is the Docker version in your system? That is 1.13.1. This is the Docker version that I have, that I'm running in my system. And what else you want to know? That is volume, that is local. From where Docker taking the volume, the storage part, it's from the directly your host machine. It will take directly from the local machine. So this is the kernel version that Docker using, that is the kernel version. The same kernel version our machine, host machine, also using that. What is the type of OS we are using? That is Linux. What is the operating system that Docker installed? That is 7.6. What is the architecture of that? That is 64-bit. How many CPUs we have? 1. How many RAM we have in our system? That is 4 GB of RAM memory. And these are the main thing that you have to remember. Okay. And what are the registry we are using? Only docker.io. So this is how you can use Docker info to learn more about your Docker services. Got that? Now we have left with 2 or 3 things that we have to remember it every time. Suppose if I open a like browser of this Red Hat machine, and if I show you, there is a container running, that is Nginx one, or take any one, Nginx one or nostalgic underscore Williams. But we have to wait for the opening of Firefox. I will tell you something in the Docker, that how can you check every time that how many users or how many load you are getting on your Docker container page. Suppose if I make a Docker container, there are 2 Docker container, and they are only hosting a web page. If you can see that from here, like this one, that is welcome to my container on Nginx. But suppose there are thousands of users that are using the same web page. So it's basically a load balance we have to do is, or we can check the load on the Docker container itself. So how can we check the load? First, we have to give the load on the Docker container. So this is the IP address that we are going to run now for the load, and there is a command to docker stats. This is the command to check all the loads on the container. So see, if I run it, you can see on the container first, or this is the second, you can see CPU using 0.0% CPU, and memory from the total of 4 GB, it's using only 1.4 MB. Like you can see in the percentage also, that is 0.04 percentage. But if I try to give the load to the container by refreshing, you can check the load is increasing. You can see in the left side that load is increasing by day, or you can say second by second. So this is how you can check the load on your Docker container. You can see I'm giving him F5 for refreshing, and you can see CPU is taking percentage, and CPU memory also. If I stop that, it will take 0 again. But if I try to do it again, you can see in the CPU percentage it's increasing every second. So this is how you can check your Docker container limitations or user load. So suppose there are 100% of CPU used, you can add more CPU to your system, so that is easy to check your website by the user. There is no delay while checking your container page. So this is how you can do these such kind of things. So now what we have to left is how to make your own Docker image. Be with me, that Docker image that you have to make by yourself. So this is the last topic that we have to remember for the Docker itself. So by which means there is a file called, if you can spell that, Docker file. By Docker file, making a Docker file, you can make your own image. If you can see that, by making a Docker file, you can make your own Docker image. But before that, we have to learn some more command like docker. If you want to check the version, then docker version is a command to check your client version and server version. So both of are same, that is 1.13.1 and 1.13.1. Okay, so there is another command that will tell you what are the processes are running on your running Docker container. So like in base machine Linux system, we have a command that is top-c that will check is a running process in my system. You can relate to task manager in Windows and top command in Linux. So it will show you the processes. But if you want to see the processes of the Docker container, what you have to do is you have to run a command that is docker top followed by a running container name. So the nginx _1 is a running container. So you can see the processes of the running container, that is root and worker process. It's taking nothing but the PID, that is process ID, is this one. If you kill the process ID, it will stop the container also. So that is how you can learn more about Docker. Now, the last thing that you have to know about a Docker file. How can you make your own image, and how can you push that your own image into Docker Hub repository? Before that, we have to learn one more thing, that is, suppose we have a running container with the name of nostalgic _ Williams, and if I want to rename the name, this is how you can rename. Suppose nginx _2 I have to give the name. So you have to Docker rename the first name of that container that is present now, and that second name that you want to give to a Docker container. So if you want to if you check again, the name will be changed to Nginx underscore v2. So there are two methods to give the name. Either you can give it at the making of that container by the value hyphen hyphen name, or else what you can do is you can just rename your container. So this is how renames works in Docker container. Now, the last thing that you have to know, that is Docker file. I know I'm taking so much time to tell you about Docker file, but before Docker file, you have to know about a Docker tag, how Docker tag works. I told you yesterday in the class that Docker tag is the command to give any name to a Docker image. Suppose we had an image that is mv is the tag, so m colon v. If I want to tag that, so what I have to do is Docker tag the name that is now, or you can use image ID, that is this one. If I paste it here, and now you can give directly a name like nginx underscore new colon v5. So if you check it again in Docker images, you will get a new image with the same content of this file. The image name now is nginx underscore new and the tag is v5. But here is the thing, all the images that we are downloading or pulling from the Docker Hub are starting from docker.io. If you can see that, docker.io is a public repository of Docker. Suppose you want to pull an Nginx image, so after pulling that image, you will get a name like this, this one, docker.io slash nginx colon latest. But the thing is, we have to also tag the same content if we want to push that image into our repository. So what you have to do it, you have to make a repository in the hub.docker.com. So you have to open that and run a sign up for an account by any username that you have to remember and any password. So after that, you have to make an image by yourself. Suppose now think we have to learn a Docker file, how to write a Docker file. But why we want to write a Docker file? That is the simple thing. We have to make our own customized image. Whenever I run that, it will show you my page only that I have to configure, that I want to configure directly. So that's why we have to make a Docker file. But how? So I'm making a directory here that is Docker. So its file exists, or what we can do is Docker1. So I'm making a directory with the Docker1, and here is nothing till now. So what we have to do is we have to make a Docker file with the same name, that is Docker file, and the D is the capital, that you have to remember it every time. Whenever you build that image by yourself in the Docker file, you have to give the name that is Docker file, but the D is capital. So I'm making a file, Docker file. Now here how I can write. So first thing that you have to write, that is maintainer. Who is the maintainer of that image that you are going to build? So you can take any name. So I'm giving a name that is mayank123 at the modi at gmail.com. So you can give any name that you want, just a maintainer, not any syntax problem is there. So just a maintainer. After that, you have to give from which image you want to customize your Docker image. From which Docker image you want to make your customized image. So I'm making an argument that is from and the name that is Nginx. From the Nginx Docker image, I want to customize my image directly. So this is how you can write that. First one is maintainer. Second thing is the from which image, that is Nginx. Now, what you have to customize. So I want to copy something. I want to copy my own index HTML page to the Nginx container directly. So what I have to do is I have to copy the index.html page to the location of that Nginx container, that is usr share nginx and html. So you know about the container path, that there we have to put the index.html, that is usr share nginx html. So it will copy index.html to the containers directory of this one, or you can say image directory. After that, what we have to do is we have to just expose 80 port number. You know about where web server is running on which port number, that is 80 by default. You can directly expose that here only. While making that image, you can create you can expose that port number 80. So this is how you can make a Docker image. There are certain more functions, or you can say keywords, that is like expose, copy, from, we have some add, cmd, env. You have to learn more about that. So but for the basic Docker image that you want to make, that is this one: maintainer, from, customize, copy, and expose the port number 80. After saving this file, wait for a minute. What I'm doing is I'm making a file again with the name of file1, and here is the same thing that I'm doing, that is maintainer, and the same email ID I'm giving, and from, again I'm taking CentOS image, and in the second procedure I'm running a command, cmd for command, echo hello. I'm running a command that is echo hello. It will echo hello message from customize image. So it's for only showing you that how can you customize your own Docker image. So this is a simple short method to make your own customized image. So now the thing is, how can you make this image by this Docker file? So save that, and there is a command that is docker build. By that you can make your own customized image. So docker build -t, that is the most important thing that you have to remember it every time whenever you are making the container. So T means we are giving the tag itself. So you know about how we can give the tag. So I'm giving a tag that is first, or you can say first Nginx v1. That is v1 is the latest, or you can say v1 is the tag, and name is the first underscore Nginx v1. Sorry, Nginx. Now the thing is, you have to give the file path. How can you give the file path? That is -f is the file path that you can give. So what is the file path, if you remember that? That is this one: /root/docker1, that I make the directory. In that we have a file that is file1. So now it will make a Docker image with the instruction of this file. So what instruction I given in that? That is command, that is echo hello from the container. So if I enter it here, you can see it's giving an error like requires exactly one argument. So you have to give it in last, that is dot, in the present location. Okay, so I forgot to give the from path. I think I forgot to give from. Okay, so please provide a source image with from prior to commit. So if I open that again, we have to use from CentOS, and if I run it again, it's again asking, that is please provide a source image with from prior to commit. Or if I do it again like from, and remove the maintainer, you can directly use that also, and it's not giving the again directory, sorry, because whenever you use maintainer, you have to use some other instructions also that we are not going to use. So that's why I commit that, and you can see from here that sending build context to Docker daemon. From this image, we are using a command that is echo hello from customized image and removing intermediate container. Now you can see your Docker file will build successfully. So if you check Docker images, in this you will get a new one, that is first Nginx :v1. Now if you try to run this image, that is hyphen it CentOS, first Nginx colon v1. Now you're able to see your customized message. Your customized message will show you now here, and the container will stop. Why? Because its command is over. Whenever your part of work of your container is completed, it will delete ourselves. It will delete automatically. So you can see we have to run a command that is hello from customized image. Its container part is over. It will automatically delete it. So this is how your customized image works. Now I want to show you that I have made an image that is this one. So if I want to remove maintainer, you can see commit here. Then what you have to do, you have to again run a docker build hyphen tag. You can give any name, nginx underscore new colon v4. You have to give any name. You can give any name by yourself, no problem in that. Again, the file path that you have to give is docker1 and the file name, that is dockerfile. But whenever you make a docker file with the name of docker file, you do not have to give it every time. You can just press dot here. But if you make a docker file with any other name, then you have to specify by the -f command. So see, this is the last thing that I have told you, that you have to give the file path, file path. But if you are using the file name that is docker file, you do not have to give it every time. You just have to press dot here. You can see, okay, what is the problem now? It's taking Nginx image, but it's copying the index.html file, but there is no such file or directory present. Now what we have to do is, we have to make a file name with the name of index.html hi from Nginx customize container. So if I save that and again run the command, that is this one, you can see from Nginx it will directly download that image. Now it will copy that image, it will expose the AT port number, and this is successfully built. You can see there is one image that is Nginx underscore new colon v4 that is built 9 seconds ago. So this is how you can make your Docker customized image. Now if you try to run docker run -d, image name is nginx underscore new colon v4, you can see that if I use docker ps and what is the IP of that container is 17.0.4, you can see there is a customized message that is hi from Nginx customized container. So this all things that you have to remember, that how can you make your own customized Docker image. Now the last topic, that how can you upload that image for public. So you can see I told you yesterday also, if you search by mdhack, this is my username of Docker Hub, you will get some of the images, that is 7 or 8 images, I don't remember that, but you can directly search my image here only. But how can you do the same thing? How can you upload your own image? So these are my images that I uploaded. But how can you upload? So first step, the step 1 is to make an account on Docker Hub. On Docker Hub you have to make an account, that is hub.docker.com. After making an account, you have a username, suppose anything, in my case that is mdhack, and password in my case I don't want to tell you, you can keep it yourself. So I'm keeping myself, you can take this one. So this is my password. So now whenever you install a Docker, so you have to run docker login. You have to log in your account. So it's by default taking, you can see login with your Docker ID to push and pull images from Docker Hub. If you do not have a Docker Hub ID, head over to this link to create the one. So you have to first create the ID and password. So it will ask you username. So I'm hitting in directly enter, because directly taking MD hack. Now I'm hitting the password. It will not show you because in Linux the password should be not showing. It's invisible in Linux. So I think I typed something wrong. So it will incorrect username and password. I forgot the username and the password. So I have to remember it every time. So we'll wait for the same. Whenever I successfully log in, at that time I will tell you. So now it's login succeeded. If you can see that. Now if I can push into my repository. So what I have to do is now, suppose I want to push this image to my repository. Before that, you have to tag that with the name of this one and then the username. This is the thing that you have to remember. Whenever you want to push your Docker image into your account, you have to tag that with the docker.io and username. Suppose if I take a user image ID, and now you have to give the like this. MDHack is the username of mine. If you have the username is different, you can take that name here only. Now the name that you want to give that. So I want to give that is docker.io slash mdhack slash nginx underscore new colon v4. So this is how you can tag your Docker image to push that. So if you want to see that is Docker images, you can see what we have now. We have an image with the name of this, that is docker.io slash mdhack slash the name of that. Now the thing is, how can you push that? You know about pulling. By docker pull you can pull that, but how can you push? By docker push command you can push your image, that is customized image, into your Docker Hub account. So the name of the Docker is, I think, a new colon v4. So this image you have to push into your account. So if I show you that in my mdhack username, I have 8 images, but whenever I push that, it will take, now you can see the push refers to a repository, that is this one, and it's preparing to push that. It will take some time to push depending on your internet connection speed and the image size. So in the meantime, what we can see is I have an 8 Docker image that is customized by myself and uploaded into my Docker account. So now you can see that is pushing my image to my Docker account. But it will take 10 to 15 minutes to update in the websites. So, okay. So this is for you, the Docker thing. What you have to do is you have to practice Docker at a certain level that you can do anything by Docker that I told you. You can use port, kill, kill is to delete, save, load. I told you about save and load, import, export, Docker version, volume, top, stats, top, like this, tag. Now you can see I have uploaded that image successfully. So if I open that in my browser hub.docker.com, or if I search it again, it will take some time. Docker search, sorry, the username is wrong. Now it's not showing my image that I processed the 10 seconds ago, but here you can see in the Docker Hub account, this is the image that I uploaded a minute ago. This is updated 2 days ago. This is updated 4 months ago. But this image updated a minute ago. So this is how you can use your Docker Hub account to upload the Docker images. But in this one, it will take some time to upload. So that is the thing that you have to remember. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to do some certain simple topics using Python. You can use Python code to run 25 containers from a single image. That you have to do. the container, Docker image that you have to use is Nginx. This is the only thing that you have to do. And there is one more thing, that how can you delete all the containers by one command. I told you in the second class or third class, so you have to tell me that. So this is how Docker works, and the complete course of Docker is finished today. We are going to start next thing, that is automation. How can we do automation? By using Ansible. We are going to learn Ansible now. Okay, so thank you so much, guys.